produce, mix and master your audio like nobody does. Reach us on our contact today for the best quality job.
Wole Soyinka, born Akiwande Oluwole Babatunde Soyinka on July 13, 1934 in Abeokuta, Ogun State, southwest Nigeria, stands as one of Africa's most celebrated literary figures and a global icon of resistance against oppression. His life and works reflect an unwavering commitment to justice, culture, and the transformative power of art. Soyinka was born into a Yoruba family in colonial Nigeria, an environment that exposed him to both traditional African culture and Western education. His father, Samuel Ayodele Soyinka, was a school headmaster, while his mother, Grace Eniola Soyinka, was a devoted Anglican. This blend of indigenous and colonial influences deeply shaped Soyinka's world. Soyinka attended Government College Ibadan and later proceeded to the University College Ibadan, where he studied English and literature. Soyinka completed his education at the University of Leeds in England, earning a degree in English and later a doctorate degree. In the late 1950s, Soyinka began working as a dramaturgist at the Royal Court Theatre in London. However, his passion for storytelling and cultural preservation drew him back to Nigeria, where he founded two theatre groups known as the 1960 Masks and the Orisun Theatre Company. Soyinka's works, often a fusion of Western dramatic techniques and African themes, address universal issues of justice, freedom, and human dignity. His early play, titled A Dance of the Forest, which was introduced in 1960, written to celebrate Nigeria's independence, critically examined the nation's socio-political trajectory, setting the tone for his career as both artist and activist. Soyinka's activism became more visible during Nigeria's post-independence years. In 1967, during the Nigerian Civil War, he called for a ceasefire between federal forces and Biafran separatists. This led to his arrest by the military government, and he spent 22 months in prison, where he wrote a short drama titled The Man Died, Prison Notes, a harrowing account of his imprisonment and a profound critique of authoritarianism. Soyinka has authored more than 20 works, including plays, novels, poetry, and essays. In 1986, Soyinka became the first African to win the Nobel Prize of Literature, an achievement that brought global recognition to African literature. Soyinka remained an outspoken critic of oppressive regimes, often at great personal risk. His activism extended beyond Nigeria, addressing global issues of injustice and human rights. During periods of military rule in Nigeria, he went into exile, continuing to write and speak against tyranny. Today, Soyinka is celebrated not only as a literary giant, but also as a symbol of resilience and moral courage.
Welcome to the Africa Development Studies Center, ADSC. ADSC is an organization focused on training and research to advance sustainable development and growth in Africa. We exist to facilitate customized training, research, and study exchanges worldwide on leadership, management, and critical development issues. The center offers a platform for the exchange of ideas and best practices. Our comprehensive services encompass research, consultancy, capacity building, training, and education programs, as well as publishing and disseminating development-related knowledge. Our faculty consists of experts and researchers with extensive experience in policy formulation, implementation techniques, and monitoring and evaluation. Our methodology involves talks, individual and group exercises, games, video screenings, and discussion seminar sessions in a cozy atmosphere, making learning enjoyable for our participants. For more information, email us at info@adstudiecenter.com or call +234 912 039 2362. Visit our website at www.adstudiecenter.com to learn more about our programs and upcoming events. Africa Development Studies Center, rethinking development for Africa.
Welcome to the news on SOUQ News Television Lagos. I am David Chiedu. First, the headlines. Tinubu pledges commitment to tackling insecurity nationwide. Thailand eases visa rules to attract skilled professionals. New government policies hit. Businesses struggle with costs and inflation dips. On the foreign scene, Biden announces aid package for California wildfire victims. Their contributions to national safety would never be forgotten. He urged Nigerians to draw inspiration from the dedication of military personnel while pledging to prioritize their welfare and ensure that they remain adequately equipped. Meanwhile, in Kano State, Governor Kabir Yusuf announced a donation of 10 million naira to support the families of fallen heroes. Other stakeholders, including the Nigerian the Nigerian Armed Forces, police, and various paramilitary organizations, also made significant contributions. Separately, retired General Lucky Irabo called for improved welfare and healthcare initiatives for veterans, urging the federal government to implement sustainable programs to support them. The federal government has unveiled new healthcare projects to strengthen tertiary medical services and address the growing trend of medical tourism. During his inaugural visit to the Federal Medical Center, Abuja, on Tuesday, the Minister of State for Health and Social Welfare, Dr. Isiaq Salako, highlighted the government's commitment to making quality healthcare accessible to all Nigerians. He noted that President Bola Tinubu's administration prioritizes healthcare as a fundamental right and aims to transform the sector through strategic investments. Dr. Salako inaugurated 2 state-of-the-art facilities at the center, including a 64-bedded ward extension and a 3-story clinical services complex equipped with an advanced renal unit. These projects, he explained, will address critical healthcare gaps such as limited bed spaces and the need for kidney transplant. He said, quote, with these additions, we are reducing the need for Nigerians to seek critical care services abroad. And he also emphasized the importance of combining world-class infrastructure with compassionate and professional healthcare service delivery. Chief Medical Director Professor Saad Mohammed applauded the government's support while showcasing the center's progress, including its ability to handle advanced medical procedures like neurosurgery and heart surgeries. The federal government has received 255 tractors as part of a deal with a private firm to supply 2,000 units for farmers. Revealed by the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abubakar Kyari, during a press briefing, he announced plans to reorganize and recapitalize the Bank of Agriculture by the first quarter of 2025. These measures align with President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda aimed at curbing food inflation, increasing food production, and reducing foreign currency spending. The tractors, delivered in 85 containers, are part of a larger initiative that will also see 1,200 trailers distributed to farmers nationwide. And the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, has confirmed the recovery of over $110 million in assets for various countries. Fagbemi made the disclosure during the ministry's 2025 budget defense before the House of Representatives Committee on Justice, chaired by Honorable Olumide Oshoba. Speaking on the ministry's efforts, Fagbemi highlighted the development of a template for reviewing contracts which has been shared with state governments to mitigate damages and risks. He emphasized that while states can engage in foreign transactions, arbitration cases remain the responsibility of the national government. Citing the P&ID cases, he stressed the importance of engaging competent legal counsel for commercial disputes. Fagbemi assured lawmakers that measures are being put in place to ensure future agreements are carefully vetted to avoid similar pitfalls. He noted instances where the ministry declined approval of agreements with foreign agencies, prioritizing proper oversight and due diligence. The Nigerian Customs Service has set an ambitious revenue target of 6.58 trillion naira for 2025, following a record-breaking performance in 2024. Comptroller General Bashir Adewale Adeniyi announced that the NCS collected 6.11 trillion naira last year, surpassing its 5.08 trillion naira target by 1.03 trillion naira, which is 20.2% above expectations. This achievement represents a historic 90.4% revenue increase compared to 3.21 trillion naira in 2023. Adeniyi highlighted October 2024 as a milestone, with the service collecting 603.17 billion naira, its highest monthly revenue ever. Meanwhile, the National Assembly has raised the NCS revenue projection for 2025 to 12 trillion naira in the appropriation bill, reflecting growing confidence in the agency's performance. And the Association of Corporate Affairs Managers of Banks, ACAMB, has urged continued dialogue amongst stakeholders to prevent customers from suffering as the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, threatens to disconnect banks from telecom services. The NCC is also considering publicly naming 18 banks that have failed to settle a collective debt of 200 billion naira for using mobile network operators on structured supplementary service data, USSD, platforms. In addition to naming the defaulters, the telecom regulator is preparing to suspend USSD services for these banks, a move that could impact millions of customers. The president of ACAMB, Rashid Bolariwa expressed concern about the potential consequences, emphasizing that many customers, particularly those at the lower end of society who rely on the USSD channel for banking services, could be severely impacted as they might be unable to carry out essential banking services. And the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Maitama Tukur, has formalized Nigeria's participation in the 2025 Hajj exercise by signing a memorandum of understanding with Saudi Arabia. Representing him at the ceremony was Chairman of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, Professor Abdullahi Usman, while Saudi Arabia's Deputy Minister of Hajj and Umrah, Dr. Abdul Fattah Mashad, signed on behalf of the kingdom. A statement from the minister's media aide, Al-Qasim Abdul Qadir, confirmed that preparations for the 2025 pilgrimage are underway, building on past agreements to ensure a smooth exercise for Nigerian pilgrims. And we'll go on to some more news shortly after the break. Stay with us.
Anna Maria Orlu. I am Miss Nigeria United Nations. This month is Cervical Cancer Awareness Month, guys. Make sure you are getting checked. It is important to get checked and make sure that this is prevented. And make sure that you are raising the awareness to your friends, your sisters, your loved ones as well. Hey guys, my name is Anna Maria Orlu. I am Miss Nigeria United Nations. This month is Cervical Cancer Awareness Month, guys. Make sure you are getting checked. It is important to get checked and make sure that this is prevented. And make sure that you are raising the awareness to your friends, your sisters, your loved ones as well.
We've got just what you need right here at Femi Wash Media. Call it the Midas Touch, and you wouldn't be wrong. Let us record, produce, mix, and master your audio like nobody does. Reach us on our contact today for the best quality job.
Wale Soyinka. Born Akiwande Oluwole Babatunde Soyinka on July 13, 1934, in Abeokuta, Ogun State, southwest Nigeria, stands as one of Africa's most celebrated literary figures and a global icon of resistance against oppression. His life and works reflect an unwavering commitment to justice, culture, and the transformative power of art. Soyinka was born into a Yoruba family in colonial Nigeria, an environment that exposed him to both traditional African culture and Western education. His father, Samuel Ayodele Soyinka, was a school headmaster, while his mother, Grace Eniola Soyinka, was a devoted Anglican. This blend of indigenous and colonial influence
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. Now to the rest of the news. OpenAI has appointed billionaire investor Adebayo Ogunlesi to its board as the company transitions into a for-profit model. This is in a bid to stay ahead in the competitive artificial intelligence market. Ogunlesi, a renowned dealmaker and co-founder of Global Infrastructure Partners, GIP, is celebrated for steering global companies through critical milestones. His appointments aligns with OpenAI's restructuring efforts, which aims to accelerate growth and strengthen its market position. Ogunlesi recently made headlines after selling GIP to BlackRock for $12.5 billion and launching a $30 billion AI-focused fund backed by Microsoft, NVIDIA, and Abu Dhabi. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman commended Ogunlesi's exceptional track record and strategic vision, highlighting his role in advancing the company's mission. Ogunlesi, expressing excitement about contributing to OpenAI's progress, said that AI infrastructure development is crucial for the technology's full potential. This move comes as OpenAI, valued at $150 billion, faces scrutiny over its shift to a public benefit corporation. Critics, including Elon Musk, have voiced concerns over the restructuring. You're still on the News Hour on SOUQ News Television. Coming up, Mozambique inaugurates President Chapo takes over amid unrest. Please stay with us. Now to the rest of the news. Daniel Chapo has been sworn in as Mozambique's president today after several weeks of political unrest occasioned by disputes in election results. Chapo's main opposition, Venancio Modlane, had called for a nationwide strike in the build-up to today's inauguration, threatening to curtail the new government with daily demonstrations. And 50-year-old Modlane maintains, the October 9, 2024 polls were rigged in favor of Chapo's Frelimo party, which has been in power since independence from Portugal in 1975. However, newly sworn-in President Chapo has called for the country's stability despite criticisms that trailed the election that brought him into power. And elsewhere, Thailand aims to attract skilled professionals, investors, and wealthy foreigners to secure long-term residency. The cabinet approved changes this week to relax visa requirements, aiming to attract global talent and boost the economy. The key updates include removing the minimum annual income requirement for the wealthy global citizens, visa category, and lowering the revenue threshold for companies, allowing employees to work remotely from Thailand. The new rules also let visa holders bring in an unlimited number of dependents, such as parents and other family members, compared to the previous limit of 4. Thailand's long-term resident visa launched in 2022, which offers a 10-year residency, a digital work permit, and tax benefits. Over 6,000 people, mostly Europeans, have also already taken advantage of the program. Still on the partnerships with Middle Eastern countries, Iraq and the United Kingdom have announced a sweeping trade and defense package valued at £12.3 billion, marking a major boost to bilateral relations. The agreement was unveiled following a meeting between Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani and UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer at Downing Street. The deal includes a £1.2 billion power transmission project connecting Iraq's grid with Saudi Arabia and a £500 million initiative to modernize the Al-Qaria Air Base in northern Iraq. Additionally, a £5.3 billion UK-led water infrastructure aims to provide clean water to Iraq's arid regions. And still in Asia, South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol was arrested on Wednesday over allegations of insurrection, making him the first sitting leader in the nation's history to face such charges. Yoon, who was impeached in December, called the investigation illegal, but said that he surrendered to prevent bloodshed. His arrest follows weeks of political turmoil after his controversial declaration of martial law on December 3. Since then, Yoon had been barricaded in his hillside residence, protected by personnel security. Early Wednesday, over 3,000 police officers surrounded the property, forcing Yoon to comply. This dramatic arrest underscores South Korea's turbulent history of persecuting its leaders while maintaining its democratic principles. And elsewhere, Pakistan has secured a groundbreaking $20 billion development deal with the World Bank under the Country Partnership Framework announced by Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif on Wednesday. The 10-year plan targets climate action, economic growth, and technological advancement. The funding will drive initiatives in clean energy, modernized agriculture, improved water systems, and digital infrastructure, while encouraging private sector investment to create jobs and boost the economy. World Bank manager Zishan Sheikh highlighted the role of private investment in fostering sustainable growth, emphasizing sectors like energy, agriculture, and technology. Currently, the World Bank supports 106 active projects in Pakistan, totaling $17 billion, alongside an additional $7 billion backing from the International Monetary Fund. Together, these efforts aim to solidify Pakistan's path to sustainable and inclusive development. You're still on SOUQ News Television. News Hour continues with more stories coming up shortly. Stay with us.
Africa Development Studies Center, ADSC. ADSC is an organization focused on training and research to advance sustainable development and growth in Africa. We exist to facilitate customized training, research, and study exchanges worldwide on leadership, management, and critical development issues. The center offers a platform for the exchange of ideas and best practices. Our comprehensive services encompass research, consultancy, capacity building, training, and education programs, as well as publishing and disseminating development-related knowledge. Our faculty consists of experts and researchers with extensive experience in policy formulation, implementation techniques, and monitoring and evaluation. Our methodology involves talks, individual and group exercises, games, video screenings, and discussion seminar sessions in a cozy atmosphere, making learning enjoyable for our participants. For more information, email us at info@adstudiecenter.com or call +234 912 039 2362. Visit our website at www.adstudiecenter.com to learn more about our programs and upcoming events. Africa Development Studies Center, rethinking development for Africa.
Welcome back to the news. Now more of it. China's cross-border trade and investment grew significantly in 2024, reaching new heights, according to Li Bin, who is the deputy head of the State Administration of Foreign Exchange, SAFE. Mr. Li Bin highlighted that there was a 14.6% increase in international transactions by businesses and individuals, which came to a total of $14.3 trillion, which is a record high. China also maintained a stable foreign exchange reserve of over $3.2 trillion, with the RMB exchange rate staying balanced. For the first time, the country's external financial assets exceeded $10 trillion by September 2024. To capitalize on the economy's growth, the People's Bank of China made key policy changes last year. Deputy Governor Xuan Changyan explained that the bank lowered the reserve requirement ratio and reduced policy interest rates to encourage borrowing and investment. Officials emphasized that these measures aim to support China's high-quality economic growth and increase its openness to the global market. And UK shoppers could soon feel the financial pinch as retailers grapple with rising costs brought on by new government policies, according to a recent survey by British Retail Consortium (BRC). 2/3 of retailers plan to increase prices this year, with half also reducing staff hours and cutting jobs in their offices and stores. Amidst this, nearly a third of businesses are turning to automation to help manage expenses. The Labour government has defended the move, arguing that increased employer taxes will fund the much-needed infrastructure and public services. However, critics contend that the plan adds further pressure on an already fragile economy. Meanwhile, in a more positive turn, UK inflation took an unexpected dip in December, dropping to 2.5% from 2.6% in November. This surprise reduction offers a glimmer of hope for UK consumers and provides some relief for household budgets. The core inflation rate also saw a drop to 3.2% from 3.5%, surpassing expectations and offering a boost to the Bank of England's inflation control efforts. And to the USA, the past 2 days have seen the euro rebound against the dollar, following news that the US President-elect Donald Trump may consider a gradual pace of hiking tariffs. Euro has plummeted by 9% against the US dollar since September last year due to the United States Federal Reserve's hawkish policy stance and market jitters that characterized Trump's victory at the election. While the euro-dollar pair maintained rebound levels above 1.03, in the early hours of today's Asian session, market analysts say that the trend may be subject to the realities of the upcoming U.S. Consumer Price Index, CPI. The U.S. CPI data will provide insight into the Federal Reserve's potential monetary policy direction. The United States has been experiencing a rise in consumer prices for 2 consecutive months, which is a signal for inflation that could undermine the euro's rebound. And now, up next is some sports stories. Stay with us. Welcome back. Now wrapping up with sports. The excitement in the English Football League continues today with key fixtures on the schedule. Arsenal takes on rivals Tottenham Hotspur in a highly anticipated clash, while Everton hosts Aston Villa. Leicester City faces Crystal Palace and Newcastle United goes head-to-head with Wolves. Yesterday's matches delivered thrilling results with 3 draws in the Premiership. Nottingham Forest held league leaders Liverpool to 1-1 draw. Chelsea shared points with Bournemouth in a 2-2 encounter, and Brentford secured a dramatic 2-2 draw against Manchester City. Meanwhile, West Ham claimed a narrow 3-2 win over Fulham. And that's the news hour on SOUQ News Television. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and X. Do follow us and follow the conversations. Many thanks for watching. I am David Chiedu. Good afternoon.
Wọlé Ṣóyínká, Born Akiwande Oluwole Babatunde Soyinka on July 13, 1934, in Abeokuta, Ogun State, southwest Nigeria, stands as one of Africa's most celebrated literary figures and a global icon of resistance against oppression. His life and works reflect an unwavering commitment to justice, culture, and the transformative power of art. Soyinka was born into a Yoruba family in colonial Nigeria, an environment that exposed him to both traditional African culture and Western education. His father, Samuel Ayodele Soyinka, was a school headmaster, while his mother, Grace Eniola Soyinka, was a devoted Anglican. This blend of indigenous and colonial influences deeply shaped Soyinka's world. Soyinka attended Government College Ibadan and later proceeded to the University College Ibadan, where he studied English and literature. Soyinka completed his education at the University of Leeds in England, earning a degree in English and later a doctorate degree. In the late 1950s, Soyinka began working as a dramaturgist at the Royal Court Theatre in London. However, his passion for storytelling and cultural preservation drew him back to Nigeria, where he founded two theatre groups known as the 1960 Masks and the Orisun Theatre Company. Soyinka's works, often a fusion of Western dramatic techniques and African themes, address universal issues of justice, freedom, and human dignity. His early play, titled A Dance of the Forest, which was introduced in 1960, written to celebrate Nigeria's independence, critically examined the nation's socio-political trajectory, setting the tone for his career as both artist and activist. Soyinka's activism became more visible during Nigeria's post-independence years. In 1967, during the Nigerian Civil War, he called for a ceasefire between federal forces and Biafran separatists. This led to his arrest by the military government, and he spent 22 months in prison, where he wrote a short drama titled The Man Died, Prison Notes, a harrowing account of his imprisonment and a profound critique of authoritarianism. Soyinka has authored more than 20 works, including plays, novels, poetry, and essays. In 1986, Soyinka became the first African to win the Nobel Prize of Literature, an achievement that brought global recognition to African literature. Soyinka remained an outspoken critic of oppressive regimes, often at great personal risk. His activism extended beyond Nigeria, addressing global issues of injustice and human rights. During periods of military rule in Nigeria, he went into exile, continuing to write and speak against tyranny. Today, Soyinka is celebrated not only as a literary giant but also as a symbol of resilience and moral courage.